Today, we are going to be talking about how we can redo or reconfigure manufacturing on-site audits so that we can continue being able to provide SIL certifications during COVID-19 times. Everything, the world has kind of gotten topsy and turny and turned upside down right now. So we are going to let you know the new ways we are solving the problems for our customers. So my name is Lauren Stewart. I am a CFSE here. I see a couple new names, people I'm not quite familiar with yet, so welcome and nice to meet you. In case you don't know me yet, I've been here with exida for over 8 years now. I mostly work with our mechanical customers, helping them get SIL certified. But I also have a hand in exida Academy as well. And I do a lot of our trainings, I teach our courses, and do a lot of these webinars along with some research at exida. For those of you that don't know exida yet, we are involved in the complete supply chain of functional safety across multiple different industry sectors. So whether you're from the OEM that's making that device that's going into a SIF or a SIL certified loop, or the whole way if you're designing SIL systems, if you are an end user working in a manufacturing site using these safety functions, the whole way through decommissioning. Whether you're looking for certifications, tools, and software to help make your life easier, consulting, support, training. We have all of your needs covered, whether it's in functional safety, alarm management, or cybersecurity. So we can help you all along the way to make your life easier. This used to be one of my favorite slides, but it's starting to be dated now in these times. What I used to say on this slide was no matter where you are, where your products are going, where your customers are, we have someone close by to help with your functional safety, alarm management, and cybersecurity needs. But as we will find out in this webinar, we're finding that the world is a much smaller place now with all of these remote capabilities such as these remote audits, these WebExes. It really doesn't matter where in the world somebody is, we are able to help find them a solution. But just to make you feel better, we do have people right in your backyard, functional safety and alarm management and cybersecurity experts. The last slide about exida, and then we'll get into why you're really here today. But I always let all of my customers know, keep and continuously checking back in on exida's publishings. We have free blogs, free webinars, free white papers that we are constantly getting the newest research, the latest information, the most up-to-date findings out there. Our theory is if we're always studying this stuff and finding new ways, better ways to make things safer, what good is it to keep that in? We want to make the world a safer place, so we're trying to get that information out there. So we are continuously publishing books, we're going to conferences, we're giving speeches to get that information out there. So can always check in to see what we have available for the latest and greatest. But let's get to why we're really here. This all started because lately, due to the pandemic that we are seeing, a lot of our safety engineers have been asked a bunch lately, well, can I still get my product SIL certified? How is this still going to work? Is everything put on hold? And we wanted to ease everybody's minds with this webinar and let you know that You can still get SIL certified in these times. You can still go through the whole process. And we want to introduce our remote on-site audit and give you that information today and show you how exactly you can move seamlessly, even in these strange or these new normal times. So during a device certification project, an on-site meeting is expected and normally takes place over a 1 to 2 day period. This comes long after we've already done some work together. We've either done a gap analysis or we've started to go through your process. We schedule usually an on-site meeting, an exida engineer traveling there face-to-face for 1 to 2 days. During this visit, we will review your development procedures in detail. We're going to do some interviews with responsible people, and we're going to see how the process is actually applied to the product. If there are any audit findings or if there's any requirements of the standards that aren't yet met, through this, we'll give you an action item list, and we'll explain exactly what the standard says you still need to have in place. We won't just leave you high and dry. So the question comes, well, now with these weird times, how are these manufacturing completing these on-site audits when there's travel restrictions in place, when somebody can't get on an airplane, can't come visit? Well, we have created a process just for this, and we're going to continue to orchestrate these assignments, but do it remotely. We will go through this audit process, and we can still help you and help assess these gaps. We can still assess your safety and your reliability. We can assess that you're still meeting all of the requirements of the standard without ever stepping foot on your manufacturing floor. So what happens in an exida certification? Well, first, let's start with what all exida can certify you to and what a certification is. So most of you might be familiar with certification IEC 61508, or as many people know that as SIL certification. So normally when you hear the word certification, that's where our brains tend to go. But just so you know, we have many other certifications as well that you can, different standards and even people that can get certified. So we have certifications in things like IEC 61511, ISO 26262. We have our cyber 62443, machinery certifications 13849 or 62061. And as I said, we even have people certification. So if you want to prove your functional safety expertise as a person, we can show that as well. And remember, a certification is always going to be that third-party authentication that's done against some set of requirements, and that's based off a scheme, which is mostly set up around whatever international standard that you want to be certified on. So if you choose that IEC 61508 certification, most of the requirements from the certification are going to come directly from the standard itself. As I mentioned before, systems, products, components, and even people can get certified. Functional safety involves a detailed analysis of both the engineering design or the engineering process and the design margins resulting in random failures and looking at all different failure modes for that product. And when applicable, even cybersecurity is applied and involves a detailed engineering process looking at cyber defense mechanisms and network robustness. Obviously, if you have a simple mechanical device like a valve, you might not need to worry about cybersecurity. However, the more complex your systems are, the more the world is getting, the more you're going to need to think about this cybersecurity. Anyway, what happens in the exida process? Well, No matter what type of certification process you choose, we will always start with a kickoff meeting. We will go over everything that's needed from you and everything that you can expect to need to do and see in the process. Your exida engineer can answer any questions that you or your team has about the certification process, and we can set up a timeline and a schedule for expecting to hit the main milestones and wrap up completion of the certificate. So for a typical IEC 61508 certification, we normally start by asking to get a group of documents, and this is going to include your quality manual. This is going to include a detailed drawing of the device getting certified and a bill of materials for everything going on to that device. Depending on if you're new to functional safety or if you have a complex device getting certified, we might start things off with a gap analysis to see if there are any major gaps that need to be addressed before we start. From those initial documents we get in, we can start to perform the FMEDA or FMEDA. So this is a failure mode effect and diagnostic analysis. And this is a very detailed, like a deep dive in analysis on how that individual device's strength compares to the stresses it's going to see in operation. So we will look at that detailed drawing or the exploded view of the device and look at each individual part from the bill of material, each O-ring, each nut, bolt, screw, spring, shaft, ball, everything. And we look at each individual component to see when the stresses are applied, the application stresses are applied to it. Could it leak? Could it bend? Could it break? Could it settle? And if those things happened, would the result be dangerous or safe? For example, let's think if a shaft of a valve snaps and breaks. It's no longer connected to the ball valve. Could the ball valve still close if there was a dangerous situation present? If the shaft was broken, no, that would be a dangerous condition. So we go through each line of the bill of materials that way and come up with failure rates for the product. That's where those failure rates, those safe, the dangerous, detected, and undetected failure rates come from. Those failure rates are then used in very important SIL calcs for your customers, things like PFD average calculations. Next, after we're working on the FMEDA of the product, we can do the proven in use analysis. And this proven in use analysis is only done if you've been in the field for a while. If you have a new product, we kind of skip this part, and instead we put emphasis on the verification and validation testing in the process analysis in the next step. If you do have that historical data, we'll build a case to show that your product has this proven safe field history. While the FMEDA and the proven in use analysis are going on, we can also start the process analysis. The process analysis, it's really a detailed look into your quality management system. It's going to look at how you meet the standards requirements through your processes and through your procedures. If there are any open requirements from the standards, we'll make a list of action items and help you understand what's needed to pass that requirement. We document all of this into our safety case tool, which has a list of every requirement from each standard that you need your certification to be complete from. In a pre-2020 world, maybe a post as well, we don't know yet, next would come the on-site audit. And, well, our new path now forward, at least for now, is going to be what we now call a remote on-site audit. which we will go into our details later on in this webinar and exactly what you can expect from that. Once all of the actions have been closed or addressed, we can close out your process analysis in our safety case and pass it along to our second independent assessor for their own evaluation. They will look things over and they'll either give it an independent thumbs up or an independent thumbs down. And if they give it the thumbs up and agree that all of the requirements of the standard being certified to are met, then the project's wrapped up. We will issue an assessment report and a certificate. And this is the flow chart, kind of the same process that I just explained. This is actually a little bit more in detail for a complex software type project, but it gives you the same idea. Starting the project, we work on the FMEDA. If you have software or a complex project, we might also look at an FMEA or software criticality HAZOPs. In the meantime, we will be working on our safety case. We'll ask you for a bunch of your processes and procedure documents, things like your safety requirement specifications or your modification plan, your quality management procedures, and import that into our safety case tool. As I said, normally we do our on-site audit. Now we are going to be doing that same on-site audit yet remotely, which we'll get into in a little bit. And we'll make sure that all of the requirements are met. If they're not, we keep going back in the loop of our flow chart and closing out all of the requirements until all have been met. Once they are, we pass it off to the second assessor and issue your certificate and your assessment report. This is just some typical documentation that we ask for. Usually, if we are provided these documents, it will cover most of the requirements of the standards. We'll be asking for things like your ISO cert, your training records. We'll be asking for your modification procedure or corrective action procedure, how you've done your validation and verification. As I said, we'll put a lot of emphasis on that if you are not proven in use, and things like your safety manual. When we are gathering all of our information, we will then put it into our safety case tool. The great thing about this tool, all of the standards that you could get certified to, all of the requirements are already in here. We can just filter which, or we just put into the program which standards you want to be certified to, which levels you would like to be certified to, and it will pull out all of the applicable requirements. For each requirement that is applicable in your situation, we need to make an argument stating why we feel you meet that requirement. And we do so with the evidence you give us, all those documents, those processes, those procedures that you hand into us. So for each requirement, we will make an argument with the evidence of your document and show exactly where you meet that requirement. As you can see on the left-hand side, if there are any action items or gaps left open, we can give you an action item list, and we can help you understand exactly what the standard means from these, so you can address these and close out every action item in an efficient manner. At the end, once all of the requirements have an argument and the second assessor agrees with every single argument, you are then presented a certificate. The certificate and the assessment report. But the certificate has a lot of very important information for both you and your customers. It's going to have what SAEL level you are capable to go up to. It's going to have the expiration date. It's going to give your systematic capability, your random capability. If you are analyzed per route 1H, per route 2H, it will let them know the safety function as well as if there are any application restrictions. The back of the certificate has a lot of super important information as well, especially those failure rates coming straight from that FMEDA. It will be broken into safe detected, safe undetected, dangerous detected, and dangerous undetected failure rates in each of the failure modes that was analyzed. Along with the failure rates, we also are going to have your assessment report number that has all of the information that we looked over and all of the things from our assessment listed in, all of those things, the requirements that were met. And it also is going to list your safety manual. So your safety manual is going to have a lot of important information for you to give to your customers. Things like the environmental limits or any restrictions that you have for your certification. When you're finished, both the cert and the assessment report will be listed on the SAEL. And I love the SAEL. It's a super cool tool. A lot of end users find it very easy to use, so they use it a lot. You can simply pull down the list of all of the different categories and it will present you all of the SAEL certified devices. So for example, you can look at, say you're an end user and you are looking for a triple offset butterfly valve. You can go into our final element section in our butterfly valves and you can have a list of all of the ones. You can click on all of them for some more information, including their FMEDA report, assessment report, and a little information about the product. And you can then find where you can get more information to see if it will work in your application. You can also see what SIL level it is capable, each device is capable for. So it's really great when you get your information listed on the SAEL because your customers are using that a lot. But now that we know the process of the certification, let's get into how this is different, what we are doing differently now in the age of COVID-19. So we want to introduce our remote on-site audit. So in a pre-2020 world, and maybe a post-2020 world as well, we're not sure, we would be doing this on-site audit. That exida engineer travels to your site and spends 1 to 2 days at your facility. We're going to go on a plant tour. We're going to follow the process of the certified device through a plant from incoming material the whole way through shipping and handling. We will want to witness some testing, asked to go through of your engineering processes. And at this point, we hopefully clean up any action items that are left open, explain to you what requirements are still need to be met, and see if you have any documents already there meeting those requirements that you just haven't sent in yet. After an on-site, we usually travel home and enter all of these new documents into our safety case and hopefully close out any action items that you had. But now, in this new time, this new normal, we are all facing new challenges, how to keep our businesses running in the COVID-19 times. And at Exida, we understand how very important it is to verify all the requirements of the standard, especially of the on-site audit requirements. But we are finding ways to still verify the requirements and verify the safety of the product without having to postpone your project. So our new path forward, well, at least for now, is a remote on-site audit. And yes, I understand it's a total oxymoron to be remote and on-site, but that's exactly what we're doing. If you are able to have 1 or it's usually easier if you can have 2 people. If you could have 1 or 2 people go on site in your plant and have a laptop that has a camera and internet connection, we can make this new remote on-site audit work. We were very excited to be able to perform our first few in the last, we did one last week, one the week before, and 1 week the week before that I was a part of. And we were really excited on how well they went. We were able to see everything we needed to see right from staying at home. We were still able to meet all of those requirements. And I'm not going to lie, it was exactly how I thought 2020 would have been when I was a little child, like 5 years old. You imagine you're going to be a laptop head with someone walking you around, and that's exactly what I was. I was the laptop head on a laptop, and somebody was walking me around the plant. Now, if we could only get me that flying spaceship car that I thought I would have by 2020, I would be like the happiest 5-year-old ever. But anyway, even though it's a little strange, it's a little different, maybe it's what your 5-year-old self thought 2020 would be, but it is our new normal now, and maybe from now on, who knows? But as long as you can get somebody in your plant with a laptop and a camera, we can still have them take us around and verify all of the requirements. So now I'm going to go. I was really bad. I forgot to take questions throughout the webinar. I kind of just get talking and get on a roll. So if you have any questions, please let me know in your questions dialog box. And if you think of them later, please let me know as well. Also, if you want more information on functional safety, cybersecurity, or alarm management, we have online trainings. Both instructor-led and live in-person online trainings. And this is great if you are stuck at home and can't travel and want to expand your knowledge in these areas. So our online live streaming will have a live instructor. It will be the same time every day. And you will have face-to-face, quote unquote, face-to-face live interaction. And then we are also very proud to announce that we have self-paced training as well. These are pre-recorded and you have access up to 60 days for them. So there are some of our most popular trainings have already been recorded and ready. So you can just do it in the convenience of your own home at the time you feel most comfortable. You can start it and stop it whenever you please. And then still don't have any questions, but if you think of more, as I said, always check back. We always have new webinars, new blogs, new information coming out. So please make sure you check back in with us for the most latest and datest information. And if nobody does have any questions, nope, okay, final call. Have a wonderful day, and everybody stay safe and stay healthy, and hopefully this will all clear up pretty soon.